Selkies, and Marcia actually named them. These are C-type particles, and they basically act as almost like crossing guards, which line the periphery of an electromagnetic stream that leaves these portals, and basically act as guards or guideways surrounding the Ganesh particles, giving them a pathway to a target. Now the real question, I think, is how is the decision being made for a target? And we've identified on these Selkies what appear to be acoustic antennae. And I say appear to be acoustic antennae because changes of input into this system, acoustic changes, affect the behavior of these Selkie particles.
Sound. In other words,
yes.
Sound is affecting the Selkie particles, causing them to redirect the energy towards a target or away from a target?
Causing them to redirect their positions, which confine an electromagnetic stream or a river, if you will, being emitted from these portals. And you know, we've wondered what the portals are. They might be micro wormholes. Okay. We don't know right now.
And these are nano-sized portals? Is that
no, these are microscopic sized. Somewhere within the 20 to well, it'd be very transient, up to 50, but around the 10 to 20 micrometer size. And so they're observable quite readily under a compound microscope if the conditions are held constant and if they are treated delicately. They're extremely transient phenomena.
In other words, you don't have a control over them.
No. And in fact, we don't do any direct propagations anymore. The last direct propagation was done last November, and we received for the second time an anomalous growth of cells in the medium surrounding the crystal that we were using. We were using a quartz crystal because of the silicon oxide nature of the quartz crystal. And we received an anomalous growth of cells of unknown origin around the crystal. So we do not know where these cells were from. We've had that happen now twice, and we've determined that we're getting a little too good, if you will, at the science of propagating these portals, and we're possibly receiving a negative consequence as a result.
In other words, those could actually be an alien life form.
Indeed.
Okay.
Indeed, they could.
Very interesting.
They could be extraterrestrial.
Cells. They're microscopic, right? So.
Right. I mean, you know, we've received a mix of very unusual cells, which I was not able to cytologically type, and also cells which appeared nearly prosaic to our ocean here. Microscopic one-celled organisms, haptophys.
But they came out of nowhere.
The material that we had provided to the experiment prohibited a cross-contamination, the ability for this to have been a cross-contamination. So they came from somewhere. Now, also, what we've done is a repeat of a very famous experiment called the Spallanzani experiment with beef broth, but we put a tweak on it, if you will. In the Spallanzani experiments were experiments designed to either prove or disprove the idea of spontaneous generation. And so the question is then begged, are we exhibiting spontaneous generation here? And I think that we have zero evidence that this is spontaneous generation. And allow me to explain why. The Spallanzani experiment that we repeated, we did it exactly the way the famous experiment was originally done, with beef broth that had been boiled, but we actually had it autoclaved, so that we had pressure and heat both acting on it, getting rid of all the spore formers, everything that could have been present in there as a living organism. We left some open, some closed, and then we did a closed and an open experiment where we applied electricity and a silicon oxide bearing crystal to it. And in the case where we had the closed study done, we received the growth of cells in that closed study, which appeared to me to be neural cells, and organized neural cells, to the point where we could actually tell morphologically that there was an AB-AB pattern which was developing. I wouldn't say that I was in a panic, but Marcia is nodding her head rapidly off the camera. I was in a near panic to cease the study then and there so that we weren't accidentally producing something with sentience.
Wow.
Not my right. That would have been an abomination of some variety. I don't practice the tools of science devoid of moral considerations. Some nowadays, I think, have no problem, no compunction against that. I do. So the study was ceased immediately, and the cells were photographed. Yes, we have the photographs of them, but the study was ceased, and it was killed immediately.
Okay, well, this is really kind of earth-shaking information that you've got here, and now
Very
that
humbling
I'm getting it
for me.
in a way that I understand, it makes it very clear. Wow.
But
Thank you, Dan. That was quite enlightening.